Noah Lyles' mother's $11 struggle and pressurized. Childhood helped him achieve Olympics' dream. The people you grow up around have an enormous impact on your life, and Noah Lyles is the living embodiment of that. From a childhood defined by poverty to becoming a track star with a $5 million valuation, the journey has been nothing short of mythical for the Florida native. However, in his quest to become one of the greatest sprinters of all time, the 27-year-old had some seminal figures who provided him with all the motivation Noah needed. Just days ago, fans were shocked to learn how Noah's mother, Keisha Kane, struggled to buy shoes worth $11 from Walmart for her children due to financial troubles. However, now, hauling 2 medals at the recently concluded Paris Olympics, her son has sealed his status as the fastest man in the world. But a helping hand was never hard to find along the way. Noah Lyles had people to show him the way. Appearing for an interview for The Kelly Clarkson Show after his seminal performance at the French capital, Noah talked about how the dream of becoming an elite runner was embedded in his mind from an early age. Lauding his efforts to win gold in the men's 100 meters race at the 33rd Olympics, the host was curious to know if Noah felt powerful about his feat. However, as the sprinter said, it isn't something that feels unique to him so much. For me, it's kind of an everyday scenario. I grew up with the idea that I was the fastest man in the world, or I was going to achieve it eventually, said Noah with a smile. He went on to reveal how his ambitions were fueled by seeing stars like Noah Lyles, Hazel Clark, and Joetta Clark-Diggs, all of whom were Olympians in their own right. Noting how things can get tense, having so many examples in front could make things difficult for a child, Kelly wanted to know if Lyles felt pressurized about having to replicate their success. "I just thought it was normal," grinned Noah in response.
Like, what kind of powerful does that feel like? I would feel amazing.
For me, it's kind of an everyday scenario.
Oh my God. He's like, I'm just like walking around, running around.
I grew up with the idea that I was the fastest man in the world, or I was going to achieve it eventually.
Yeah. Well, you grew up around a lot of actual Olympians.
Yeah, a lot. Like, so Noah Lyles, we're really close to the Clarks and the Miles family.
Yeah.
Noah Lyles, Hazel Clark, Joetta Clark, and then they're all trained by their brother, JJ Clark. But, 5-time Olympian, 3-time Olympian, 3-time Olympian.
And you just grew up around this. No pressure?
Yeah.
You didn't feel pressure?
I just thought it was normal.
Okay, that's kind of incredible, though, that you skipped over that and you didn't get nervous about it because you're just like, no, this is like what we do, like everyone I'm around.
And then my parents were both runners as well, and world champions and stuff like that. So, again, I just thought, running's in your blood.
Can you imagine if you were slow? You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody's so, and you're just like, I got it, guys. Like, it's like me and your family. That would have been really funny. I'm glad it didn't happen.
He went on to note that being a track athlete was the only logical option for him, considering both his parents, Kevin and Keisha, were also track runners at Seton Hall University. "I just thought running's in your blood," said the athlete earnestly. Maybe it's this kind of environment that nurtures talent, is what that helped Noah to reach out and grab greatness by the scruff in the City of Love. The men's 190-meter race was one of the most anticipated events at the Paris Olympics. With Jamaica's Keyshawn Thompson posing the biggest hurdle to Noah's dreams of becoming an Olympic gold medalist in the race, fans everywhere were eager to see if the American had any special tricks up his sleeves. Surely enough, Lyles ran a sensational 9.79 seconds to win the race by a photo finish, making it clear that his ambition of becoming one of the greatest sprinters of all time wasn't a thing Noah took lightly. However, his dream of bagging the coveted sprint double remained unattained despite his best intentions. Lyles ran the men's 200-meter sprint with COVID-19 and yet managed to win bronze after crossing the finishing line in 19.70 seconds. While speculations about how different things could have been are rampant, Lyles' zeal was commended by many across the globe. Now that the star is back home, it remains to be seen if he continues to pursue his goal or if he decides to cut himself some slack in the coming days.
One of my proudest moments as Noah's mother was when he lost to Michael Norman in Rome. First of all, it was an amazing race. And then after the race and the media, and I finally get a chance to see him, and I run over to him and I hug him real tight. I said, Noah, that was a great race. And he said, I know, right? That was one of my proudest moments because it showed that it's not about the win. It's about each athlete helping themselves be the best they can be in that moment. I've had a lot of different names. Keisha, Miss Bishop, Momager, Mom, Miss Kane. In the past, I've been known as Miss Lyles. My passion is helping people be the absolute best they can ever be. I want to see them be the best version of themselves they can be and who God created them to be so that they can leave this world with all of their gifts used up. The next generation can take that and go even further. So the role I provide to the team is I make sure all of the pieces are moving correctly. For Noah, that means specifically making sure all his invoices are paid that need to be paid, making sure his mortgage is paid on time, making sure his business credit cards are being paid, make sure that they're planning for the future. And when I'm at track meets, I'm the one who carries the extra pair of spikes and a uniform just in case somebody, not going to say any names, forgets their spikes at USATF Nationals right before the finals. When I was younger, my first job I ever wanted to do is be a teacher, which is something I am doing now through life coaching. I realized I just like to help people. So somehow I've always ended up in roles where I help people, whether I was paid for it or not. I feel like I have been everything under the sun because I have BBA. I have bounce back ability. I can become anything I need to be in order to survive.
I have asthma, allergies, dyslexia, ADD, anxiety, and depression. Noah Lyles was grappling with his inner demons when he clinched his first Olympic medal 3 years ago in Tokyo. However, he came back stronger in the years that followed, hoping to redeem himself on the world's biggest stage. The 27-year-old made a promise to America to break the 20-year-old 100-meter medal drought at the French capital. As he stepped onto the purple tracks, all eyes were on him. Even though he was battling 6 medical conditions, the Olympian stayed true to his word. Despite a late start, he caught up to the favorite Kashane Thompson and Fred Curley, claiming his first Olympic gold medal in front of a raucous crowd in Stade de France. Lyles' mother, Keisha Kane Bishop, was in the stands. She watched her son speed past the finish line with tears streaming down her face. Many eagle-eyed fans had even noticed her fresh manicure featuring both the Jamaican and American fans. Post being crowned as the new Olympian 100-meter champion, Noah Lyles went on to celebrate his win on X. He wrote, "I will tell you that what you have does not define what you can become. Why not you?" After soaking in the moment, Keisha spoke to Hearst Television about how she hopes people take one thing away from his win. "I just want our experience to encourage somebody else. That kid might have asthma, or ADHD, or dyslexia, or a single mom. Like, we want you to know that when you start is when you finish," she said.
Well, how are you doing? Because this is not easy to be an Olympic parent.
I told myself I'm not going to be a wreck. I told him that he was born for such a time as this. This moment was created for him. I told him to have fun, that we love you, but he already knows that. And just go out there and do what you do. I just tell people I want our experience to encourage somebody else. Like, that's what I really want. Some kid who might have asthma or ADD or dyslexia or a single mom. Like, we want you to know it's not where you start, it's where you finish.
Keisha Kane Bishop ran through the bowels of the Stade de France with an understandably frantic look on her face. Her son, Noah Lyles, had been removed from the track moments earlier on a wheelchair. She was trying to find him after he took 3rd in the men's 200-meter dash at the 2024 Paris Olympics, but looked unwell afterward. Beside her was NBC track and field reporter Lewis Johnson. As they dashed down a hallway, Johnson turned around and gestured with his hands, making a wheelchair motion toward a volunteer who pointed him in the direction of the venue's medical center. Johnson later described Kane Bishop as distraught during his update on Lyles' condition. The 100-meter Olympic champion received medical attention on the track and was breathing heavily. Lyles has asthma. Concurrently, a rumor started floating through the mixed zone. Lyles had COVID-19. Soon enough, the news was breaking everywhere. Johnson ran back the way he came from toward his NBC camera station while speaking on his cell phone. Athletes from other events and those who took part in the 200 began trickling through the mixed zone. Some, particularly those who competed shortly after the men's 200, were clueless about the news cycle that had just begun. Noah? I didn't know, wow, said Jasmine Jones, who finished 4th in the women's 400-meter hurdles. That's crazy. Congratulations to him. He's fantastic for that. That's really impressive. Congratulations. Hats off. Yeah. Wow. I didn't know that. That's because, Lyles later said while speaking with a mask on in the mixed zone, the circle of people who did know he tested positive Tuesday was small. Just his family, his doctor, and his coaches. Not even his teammates knew. He raced in the 200-meter semifinals Wednesday. I was going to compete regardless, Lyles said. If I didn't make it to the 200 finals, that would have been the sign not to compete. Lyles showing up to the mixed zone came as a surprise. His publicist informed the media he would not be speaking and that the United States Olympic and Paralympic Committee, along with World Athletics, would be releasing statements. He disappeared from the cameras only to suddenly pop up again on NBC. He entered the mixed zone shortly thereafter. To be honest, I'm more proud of myself than anything, coming out and getting a bronze medal with COVID, Lyles said. Overwhelmingly, the other athletes cared little that Lyles competed with the virus. The winner of the race, Letsile Tebogo of Botswana, first noticed something was wrong with Lyles on Wednesday. He noticed that the 27-year-old was wearing a mask and that the protection remained on his face during the pre-finals warm-ups. Not in his best shape, Tebogo said. He's going through something. A reporter then informed him that Lyles had COVID. Who said that? Tebogo replied. Lyles did. I don't think he put anybody at risk, Tebogo said. The most laid back about the night's drama was Kenny Bednarek, the silver medalist in the 200. From what I heard, he's got something that went on, so I don't really know what's going on with him, Bednarek said. I mean, I will probably talk to him after this to see if he's okay, which I hope so. But yeah, like for me, I don't really know. I'm kind of out of the loop. Bednarek hugged Lyles after the race and said he was unbothered by Lyles' decision to race. I'm healthy, Bednarek said. I do everything I can to make sure my body's healthy. Bednarek was asked if he had noticed an uptick of colds circulating throughout the athletes' village. There was a message that came out saying there was something going around, he said, but I haven't seen it. I guess I'm carefree. Lyles said he'd rate his health anywhere from 90 to 95% out of 100, though he wrote on Instagram late Thursday he believes, "This will be the end of my 2024 Olympics." He was expected to run in the 4x100-meter relay. He knew that he had one blow and that it could be used over those 200 meters. That didn't stop him from putting on his customary pre-race show as he bounded out of the tunnel when his name was called over the stadium's loudspeakers during introductions. He bounced all over the track and even knocked over Lane 5's marker near the starting block in excitement. It wasn't long before Lyles took bronze in his best event, and he laid on the ground looking up at the sky. Then came the wheelchair and a concerned mother looking for her son, trying to make sure he was okay. Even though Lyles' mother has been his biggest cheerleader, there once was a time where she wasn't entirely on board with his dreams. Lyles used to struggle with asthma as a child and spent years trying to overcome it. However, when he told her he wanted to go professional in 10th grade, Keisha wasn't too keen on letting him shift his focus from academics just yet. But when he proved that he was willing to put in the work in 2016, she knew Lyles would be okay.
So we were at the Olympic trials in June. It seems so long ago now, but it was just in June. And it was the morning of the finals of the 200 meters for Noah. And the whole year we have been hearing so much negativity about how he didn't look the same anymore, and is he actually gonna make the team, and just all of these horrible things that the media was saying and social media saying and things like that. So I said, Noah, let's do breakfast. So the morning of the finals, we go and do breakfast. And I said, this is the deal. I said, I heard T.D. Jakes say something really powerful. And he said, when you grow up in certain communities, you hear statistics like, you're not gonna live past 25, or you're gonna end up in jail by a certain age, or you're gonna develop high blood pressure or diabetes, and that's your fate. And he said, well, people saying that is not the worst thing about it. The worst thing about it is when you believe it. And so I told him, there are people saying, oh, is Noah gonna make the Olympic team? Oh, is he gonna be the same Noah this, and all these negative things. I said, but we can let them say whatever they want to say, as long as we don't believe it. Because we write our story. They don't. Their job is to sell newspapers, and we're gonna let them do their job. Our job is to create our own life story. And he went out and he won that race. And it took a lot of pressure off of him. But I think the main thing I wanted him to know was, don't let other people determine your narrative. So that was the expectation part. Another thing I always want my children to know is, it does not matter what in the world is going on outside the doors of our house. You can come home, and that is a safe place. Because the higher up you go in life, or the higher the career ladder you go up, the more your underwear shows. But it's okay. We can wash your underwear at home. So we good.
Keisha was worried about the 27-year-old after his experience at the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. The lack of an audience had left the sprinter rattled. When I see him now, I worry about what's going to happen when the lights and the cameras go away, because it's almost like an adrenaline rush that you get. Before he stepped into the 100-meter finals, Keisha told Lyles to take it all in and have fun. The sprinter went on and did so much more than that. He won. The world's fastest man will have an unexpectedly quick exit from the Paris Olympics. Just hours after finishing third in the 200 meters final, considered to be his strongest event, Noah Lyles said that he seems to have run his last race in these games. It also comes after his mother shared with NBC Olympics that Lyles had tested positive for COVID. I believe this will be the end of my 2024 Olympics. It is not the Olympic I dreamed of, but it has left me with so much joy in my heart. I hope everyone enjoyed the show, Lyles wrote in an Instagram post. Whether you were rooting for me or against me, you have to admit you watched, didn't you? See you next time. Lyles was next scheduled to compete in the men 4x100 meters relay final on Friday, but it appears he will not be a part of that foursome. It's been an eventful 5 days for Lyles. He came into the Olympics talking a big game, and he delivered right off the bat, winning the men's 100 meters final Sunday evening. Lyles was the favorite to win the 200 meters race as well, as he is considered the best in the world in it, but could not deliver another gold, instead finishing third with a time of 19.70 seconds. That was behind Botswana's Letsile Tebogo, who took the gold with a time of 19.46 seconds, and teammate Kenneth Bednaric's time of 19.62 seconds, which was good for second. But soon after the race was finished, his mother said he had tested positive for COVID earlier in the week. Lyles needed medical attention after the race, but it wasn't clear what the issue was or if it was related to his COVID diagnosis. Commentators said Lyles was seen taken off from the track in a wheelchair by medical personnel after the race. As we saw Noah Lyles being taken off there in a wheelchair, I ran down underneath the stadium to try to find where he was. I ran into his mom, Keisha Kane Bishop, who was distraught trying to find him as well. We found Noah Lyles in medical there being tended to, NBC Olympics' commentator Lewis Johnson said. The mother confirmed the diagnosis from 2 days ago, but Lyles opted to run anyway. He said he never considered not running in the race. Yeah, I woke up early about 5 a.m. on Tuesday morning, and I just was feeling really horrible, Lyles said. I knew it was more than just being sore from the 100. You know, woke up the doctors and we tested, and unfortunately it came up that I was positive for COVID. My first thought was not to panic, and we just took it day by day, trying to hydrate as much, quarantined off. And I'd definitely say it's taken its toll for sure, but I've never been more proud of myself. It's the second straight Olympics the virus has played a major role in Lyles' trip to the Games. He also won the bronze in the Tokyo Olympics, and he has said the empty stands and a year delay before the Games led to depression that he said hampered his performance and inspired his road to Paris. On Tuesday, Noah Lyles revealed he had tested positive for COVID. This was after the men's 200 meters final, where he finished third in 19.70 seconds. A wheelchair took him off the track. Lyles appeared for media duties wearing a mask, flanked by members of the U.S. team's medical department, but claimed he never had any thought about withdrawing from the event. USA Track and Field had made clear it was Lyles' decision to participate in Thursday night's final.
We have to start in Paris. It's been another huge night on the track at the Stade de France that saw such a dramatic 200-metre final. Noah Lyles, the man that everyone tipped for gold in that 200-metre, the 100-metre champion, was by far the pre-race favourite. But just have a look at this shot here. This is Noah Lyles of the USA, finishing in third. Look at the distance between him and the actual winner from Botswana, Letseli Tebogo. Absolutely incredible race. Let's get more on this story though, because there's some breaking news this evening that we have to get our heads around. We can go back to Paris again and speak to Miriam Walker-Khan. And Miriam, my goodness, how did this race play out? And tell us about the condition of Noah Lyles now.
Yeah, going into this race, Noah Lyles was a huge favourite after winning the 100 metres, and because of the fact that the 200 metres is his event. He did that long before he kind of transitioned to the 100 as well. He's got 3 world titles in the 200, and he was confident in that. He was hoping to become the first man since Usain Bolt to do the sprint double, and the first man in US history since Carl Lewis 40 years ago. And he literally bounced onto the track when they were announcing the runners at the start of the race. He looked fit, he looked healthy, he looked excited. We know he psychs out the other athletes a lot in races, but he looked very ready for that race. He got a good bend, but then he just didn't really transition off that bend into the home straight as well as we normally see him do. And like you said, it was Botswana's Letseli Tebogo who got that gold medal in a real shock of these games, I think. But after the race, we saw Noah Lyles being carried off in a wheelchair. He was wearing a mask as well at one point, talking to media. And USA Track and Field have confirmed that he had tested positive for COVID 2 days ago. This obviously isn't what Noah Lyles had planned. He has said so many times that he wants to emulate Usain Bolt and do that sprint double. And he's spoken so much about it in the lead up to this race as well. But he leaves Paris with 2 medals, one in the 100, that gold, and this bronze medal in the 200 metres. But there will be questions now over whether he should have run that race today, having known for 2 days that he's got COVID. People will ask that, and USA Track and Field have said it was his choice.
Lyles, the freshly crowned Olympic 100 meters champion, was unable to keep pace with the gold medalist, Botswana's Letseli Tebogo, 19.46, or his U.S. teammate Kenneth Bednarek, 19.62, who took silver. Lyles' appearance in a wheelchair immediately drew speculation about his medical condition. The 27-year-old soon clarified his situation. "I do have COVID," Lyles said. "I tested positive around 5 a.m. on Tuesday. I woke up feeling chills, aching, sore throat. Those were a lot of the symptoms I have had before getting COVID. I was like, I need to test this one. It came back positive, so we quickly quarantined in a hotel near the village, and they got me on as much medication as they legally could to make sure my body was able to keep the momentum going. I still wanted to run. They said it was still possible, so we stayed away from everybody and took it round by round. I have definitely had better days, but I am walking around again. I was quite lightheaded after that race, and the chest pain was definitely active. After a while, I was able to catch my breath and get my wits about me. I am feeling a lot better now. It definitely affected my performance." In a statement, USA Track and Field said, "Our primary commitment is to ensure the safety of Team USA athletes while upholding their right to compete. After a thorough medical evaluation, Noah chose to compete tonight. We respect his decision and continue to monitor his condition closely." The Paris Olympics has no mandatory rules relating to COVID and participation, meaning Lyles was within his rights to take to the start line. COVID has been a lingering feature of the Games, having affected Australian water polo players and swimmers from various nations, including Britain's Adam Peaty. Lyles answered a firm no when asked whether withdrawing from the 200 meters was ever a consideration. "I was going to compete regardless," he added. "If I didn't make the final, that would have been the sign not to compete." Still, Lyles' attitude will raise eyebrows. His girlfriend is the Jamaican athlete Janelle Bromfield, with whom he admitted sharing a bed while in the hotel. "Janelle said I was coughing through the night last night," Lyles said. "I thought I had a good sleep, but she said she had to keep moving me through the night to make sure I would stop coughing. I am more proud of myself than anything. Coming out and winning the bronze medal after 3 days with COVID, it has been a wild Olympics." No other members of the U.S. team had been informed of Lyles' diagnosis before the 200 meters final. "The only people who knew were the medical staff, my coach, my mom, and my family," said Lyles. "We tried to keep this as close to the chest as possible. We didn't want everybody going into a panic. We wanted them to be able to compete. You also never want to tell your competitors you are sick. Why would you give them an advantage over you?" Bednarek, who hugged Lyles after the final, seemed to have no worries about any danger attached to that. "I don't care," said the silver medalist. "I don't view those things as a big deal. I am healthy and do everything to ensure my body is healthy. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't get sick easily." Lyles still has to make a call over whether to compete in the 4x100 or men's relay. "I am going to talk to the 4x100 crew," Lyles said. "I am going to be very honest and transparent with them. I will let them make the decision. I believe no matter what happens, they can handle anything." Lyles later posted on Instagram, "I believe this will be the end of my 2024 Olympics. It is not the Olympics I dreamed of, but it has left me with so much joy in my heart."
Yeah, I have a feeling that no one was going to be able to stop Noah Lyles from running that race. Now, Miriam, before I let you go, there's been some history in the field for Pakistan in the javelin.
Yeah, Pakistan just won their first ever Olympic gold medal, their first medal in athletics, but a gold medal from Pakistan's Asad Nadim with an Olympic record of 92 meters 97, which is incredible. He wasn't the favourite going into it. We know that he's been throwing incredibly these past few years, but a truly incredible feat because Pakistan have only won now 11 medals at the Olympics ever, most of them in hockey. And I think this is just a moment as well, Jess, for the Pakistan and South Asian diaspora around the world, because a lot of the time we grow up as South Asian people being told we're too weak for sport, especially in football. We actually just released a documentary on Sky Sports News called Hidden Talent, where we spoke about the kind of stereotypes that South Asian athletes face. That is one that footballers hear a lot: you're too weak, you're too small. And I think having Asad Nadim, who is a Olympic champion now, throw that far in a javelin event, which is kind of the epitome of physical strength, is very, very exciting and something that Pakistanis all over the world will be very proud of.
Wow, what an achievement. Imagine trying to tell him, who's just thrown a javelin 92 metres, that he's too small and too weak. Absolutely incredible. Miriam, for your updates, as always. We'll see you tomorrow.
Fresh Noah Lyles favoritism controversy stirs Paris Olympics as Team USA star reveals struggle with 200 meters finals. Just before the men's 200 meters final event, the temperature has increased. Kenny Bednarek has raised the issue of favoritism toward the host. As per him, the hosts gave Noah Lyles lane 5 to give him a technical advantage. However, Kenny himself received lane 9 at the cornermost position. The sprinter couldn't digest it. On X, he shared the issue. Never seen favoritism like this on a global scale. Meanwhile, things seem to be settled now as Kenny is in lane 8. Noah Lyles is still in lane 5. Does there come any technical superiority with the lane changes? As per the veteran athlete, there may come. One Olympic medalist put a seal on it. 3 years ago, in Tokyo, Andre de Grasse took the bronze medal in the 100 meters event. Eventually, he vented his emotion later, and surprisingly, it was not on pace, rather, he complained about his lane position. Just like Kenny Bednarek today, Andre has lane 9. I knew it was going to be a tough one after I drew lane 9. I didn't have a great semi-final, and I knew I had to come out and try and execute as best as I can. Here, the common idea says that from the cornermost position or the outside lane, from 7 to 9, the sprinters fail to see their competitors because of limited visibility. The situation can repeat itself in inside lanes, 1 and 2 as well. In those lanes, the pertaining reason is the tightest nature of the corners. So, the middle lanes rise to be the most effective ones to keep an eye on the opponents on both sides. Right now, Noah Lyles is in the middle lane, and with him, another American sprinter, Asad Nadim, will show up in another middle lane, lane 6. Ultimately, the much-cherished 200 meters fight is expected to be limited between these two sprinters. Their performances throughout the years speak on behalf of that. Moreover, their best performances in the 200 meters event stand to be side by side, taller than the others in the pack. Apart from that, the newly enacted rules regarding lane placement prioritize the ranks of the sprinters strictly to settle at the lanes. From that perspective, the lanes for Noah Lyles, Kenny Bednarek, and Asad Nadim may raise some uncomfortable questions. In the semi-final round, Letseli Tebogo was the topper, while Kenny Bednarek followed him. Noah comes later in the 3rd position, so, from that perspective, Kenny's positioning in lane 9 was problematic. He should have been placed in any of the lanes, 5 to 7, leaving a lane for Lyles. Yet the reality is different. Would this mistreatment boost Kenny Bednarek to go against Noah Lyles, all guns blazing?
Noah Lyles, what's the biggest difference between Noah in Tokyo and Noah in Paris?
I'd say it's definitely the joy I have in my heart. It's a lot stronger. It's not depressed, and it's ready to go. It's ready to enjoy time and energy and be in the moment here.
You're bringing us joy. How much are you enjoying that rivalry with Jamaica?
Hey, I'm here for anybody who wants to take the crown. Now that's what I'm all about, competitors and competing at the highest level.
Best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you.
Noah Lyles' controversial 100 meters gold medal race at the 2024 Paris Olympics came down to a photo finish, with Lyles narrowly edging out Jamaica's Kashane Thompson by a mere 0.005 seconds. The slow-motion replay showed Lyles' torso crossing the finish line just ahead of Thompson's, securing the American sprinter his first Olympic 100 meters title. While some argued the margin was too close to call, the rules clearly state that the torso, not the head or limbs, determines the winner in a photo finish.
Usain Bolt said that he knows what you need to do to break the world record, and he's not going to say it. I'm sure you saw that. Did you and your coach look at that, or you already know what you need to do yourself?
I'm gonna do what I'm doing. If he knows and he's not gonna share it, why would I listen?
And Kenny's world lead last week, he says it's going to last just for a couple of weeks.
I'm sorry, what?
Kenny's world lead in this 100 last week, he says it's going to last just for a couple of weeks till you go on the track.
Until New York. New York Grand Prix.
You have any time fixed in your mind?
World lead.
Okay.
That's all that's needed. What did I run last time I opened up?
Well, fair enough.
And what did I run the time before that?
Fair enough.
And what did I run the time before that? All right, then.
one more. From Bahamas, you talked about them keeping the group together. You, Kenny, Harry King.
Yeah.
I mean, now you just talked about how good Christian Freddie is now. I mean, obviously it's going to boil down to the national trials and how fast you guys go on the line. Are you still adamant that you should keep the group together, or make some tweak based on how fast the other guys coming?
I was just looking at Jamaica is making a push to try and keep as many people as possible as wild cards, and I think that's a great idea because they did form some type of chemistry, even if not a lot, it's some, and that's better than none. And we as Americans, there's so many of us that are so good, you never know who's going to be on the team. So having some people that's on the team that are going to be wild cards that were on that Bahamas team, I think is very important because they have some type of chemistry.
The lane placement controversy at the Paris Olympics sparked heated debates about fairness and favoritism. Kenny Bednarek expressed his frustration on Twitter, stating he had never seen favoritism like this on a global scale after being placed in lane 9, while Noah Lyles was assigned the more favorable lane 5. Bednarek's sentiment was echoed by Andre de Grasse, who, after winning 100 meters bronze from lane 9 in Tokyo, admitted that the outside lane made it a tough one due to the challenges of limited visibility of competitors. The controversy highlighted the significant impact lane placement can have on a sprinter's performance and called into question the transparency of the assignment process. The highly anticipated 200-meter showdown between Noah Lyles and Erriyon Knighton took center stage at the Paris Olympics. The rivalry, which had been brewing for years, reached its climax as the two American sprinters faced off in the final. Lyles, the reigning world record holder with a blistering time of 19.31 seconds set in 2022, was the clear favorite. However, Knighton's raw talent and rapid improvement over the years made him a formidable challenger. The fact that both sprinters were assigned favorable middle lanes, with Lyles in lane 5 and Knighton in lane 6, only added to the excitement and speculation surrounding the race. The 200 meters final lived up to the hype, with Lyles and Knighton pushing each other to their limits.
No Olympic champion. The thing is that you embrace pressure so very well and come out on top. Is there a newfound respect that should be towards you?
No. If you like me, you like me. If you don't, you don't. I'm not gonna hate anybody that doesn't like me. But all I'm gonna say is, don't downplay other people just because you don't like someone. Just go to the guy you like. But I appreciate anybody who has found respect for me. But to be honest, this crowd was amazing. This field was amazing. This is the exact field that I wanted to show up at an Olympic final. Because if I was to lose to, any of those guys in the top 3, I would have said, that's well deserved.
Talk to me about the race though and how close it was and the time, a personal best.
Yeah, it was a very close race. I'm glad I had Oblique Seville next to me because I was like, I need somebody to put that pressure on me early. I know that in a lot of races he's been like 1 or 2 lanes away from me, and he's been able to get out just in that the acceleration phase, and I've just been missing it. And I was like, nah, now that you're right next to me, I'm gonna make sure that I cover that. And then after I passed him, I saw Kashane out there, and I was like, just do what I do, hit my top end speed, let it work. And to be honest, I didn't know if I had it. I leaned, but I didn't know I had it. Me and Kashane were at the end waiting for our names to come up, and I came up and I said, I'm gonna be honest, man, I think you got that one.
Oh,
yeah, but my name came up, and I was like, oh my gosh, I'm amazing.
And you are. What do you take away from this in terms of your legacy? How do you describe it in this moment?
In this moment, I've waited a long time. I've seen Jamaicans dominate the 100 and the 200 for so long, and I remember growing up saying, when it's my turn, I'm gonna make sure that the U.S. is on top. And here it is. Here's my time and my journey, my moment, and it's such a beautiful thing to see.
Enjoy the moment, brother.
I thank you.